everybody, it's your girl Myra J back with another video, and today we're gonna go over like my birth story. Like, I have a few people ask me to do a birth story, so I'm gonna do it. We're in the car because my boyfriend went to go get his hair cut. He kidnapped us. My baby's back there sleeping. I actually tried to do this video like 3 months postpartum, and he just was not having it, and people just kept calling me. So we're gonna try it again today. So he'll be 10 months in a couple of days. I have baby on October 29th, 2023. And just to go back at like 36 weeks, my doctor was like, oh, you're probably gonna have him early, blah blah, because I was like dilated from like 34 weeks. I want to say I started dilating, and it just did not progress. So at like my 38 week appointment, she was trying to induce me at 39 weeks, and I'm like, no. I was very hesitant, so I'm like, no. So she set my appointment for me to be induced. I was due October 25th. So she set my appointment for me to be induced on the 25th, which would be exactly 40 weeks. So I kind of went home, did a little research. I had like this whole birth plan in my head, and I'm like, I don't want to be induced. I don't want an epidural. Like, I just want to have a baby naturally. Which, like, if you're being realistic, like, that doesn't always happen. Things happen. Like, sometimes you have to have a C-section. Just like anything can come up. So, but I just didn't feel like there was no rush for me to be induced. So I called and I canceled that appointment. I did let her initially set that appointment, and I went home and I like asked everybody that I know, like, hey, did y'all get induced, blah blah. Like, I just had 1,001 questions, because for one, I know that when you get induced, the Pitocin is strong, and it's ultimately a chemical contraction. So they're fake contractions, so they're strong, like possibly stronger than a contraction without the chemicals. So everybody was like, oh, well, it's fine to go over 40 weeks, blah blah. And then so when I talked to my doctor, and she was telling me like the complications of going over 40 weeks, and we went over all that. But my thing was, she lost me when she was like, oh, my first baby, I went over 40 weeks. I had a baby at 41 weeks. So I'm like, you want me to have my baby at exactly 40 weeks and like not even give him time to cook? Like, I feel like he'll come when he's ready. And when we have a risk of infection and all that, by going over, then we'll cross that bridge before we get there. Like, give him a couple more days. So on the 30th, I had an appointment to be induced, because everybody's like, oh, don't get induced on Halloween, don't have them on Halloween. And my doctor was saying the same thing. I don't know why everybody's so scared of a Halloween baby, but they are. It don't really bother me, because I don't care. Like, might be want a Halloween party, he'll have a Halloween party. And to be honest, he was born on the 29th, he'll probably still have a Halloween birthday party at least once or twice. So on the 28th, me and my boyfriend went to the movies. I want to say we saw Black Adam. I don't know. When I was pregnant, like, you know, when you're pregnant, it's not really much you can do, like bowling. Like, you know, the ball was a little heavy. Once you get too big, it's just uncomfortable. So, like, the movies. So we get to the movies, we watching a movie, and I start having contractions, and I'm like, whatever. Because like the day before, me and my sister was in Walmart, and I was having contractions, and I'm like, girl, I can barely walk. So I'm just like, oh, Braxton Hicks, whatever. False alarm. Need some water to put my feet up. So when we in the movies, I'm just chilling. They're not like constant enough where I'm like, oh, I'm having contractions. It's just like possible Braxton Hicks. So after the movies, we get home at like midnight. I go take a bath. So I'm having contractions while I'm in the bath. My boyfriend, like, by this point, he's asleep. I done been in the bath for like 30 minutes. If you know, you know. When I take a bath, it's like I'm swimming. Like, I love the bath, y'all. Like, I love a bath. I want to be a bath. I think I'm supposed to be a mermaid, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm having contractions. So I let out the water. I'm like, yeah, I'm finna just go to bed. Let out the water. I stand up. And like, y'all, when I stand up, I'm telling y'all, these contractions just got so terrible. I'm like, oh no. So I sit back in the tub, because I couldn't even like get out of the tub. I'm just standing there. Run some more water, sit there again, having contractions. Like, once, you know, it become too much, let the water out again, try to get out. And then I end up doing that a couple of times. And I finally get out. I call my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I'm having contractions. By this point, I downloaded like a little app, and I'll try to insert the clip if I can remember. And I downloaded the app, and I was timing the contractions, and I kept waking my boyfriend up, but like I had him up all morning, so he's so tired that he's like, do you want to go to the hospital? And like in between him asking, he's falling back asleep. And so my mom's like, oh, blah blah. So I'm thinking in my head, like, I don't know, I just feel like don't tell her, but like she has 6 kids, but her at the time youngest was 24. So I'm just thinking in my head, like, this lady ain't had no kids in 24 years. She don't know what she's talking about. So I called my sister, because she told me to call my sister anyways. And my sister's like, they're 5 minutes apart. She's like, yeah, you should probably get to the hospital. So we already had our bags packed, like literally a couple days before, because like I was just not packing bags. I was like, slow poking, and I'm like, let me pack a bag before I get here, and when my boyfriend got to pack the bag, he puts something in there that I don't want the baby to come home in or something crazy. So but when we take the bags, because he asked me I want to take the bags, so I'm like, yeah, let's take the bags. We get to the hospital. I'm like, well, you can just leave the bags in the car, and like if they admit us, you can come back down and get them, because I don't want to be embarrassed and like take the bags up and then they send us back home. So when we get to the hospital, y'all, they are having construction at the hospital. So like the emergency room, it's so hard to get in that parking lot. I don't know how to get into the parking lot. So like both sides are blocked, and it's at this point it's like 3 or 4 in the morning. And so we had quite a bit of, like, it was at least a 4-minute walk away from the parking lot, or at least from my slow walk, until I'm having contractions. I gotta stop, I'm struggling, and then my boyfriend's like, I'll go get a wheelchair. And I'm like, you ain't putting me in no wheelchair. I don't want to be in no wheelchair. So as soon as we get into the ER like part, because it was late, we had to go through the emergency room. And then all the ladies in there like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have a baby, blah blah blah. So my boyfriend he's like, let me run to the bathroom real quick while they calling upstairs to Labor and Delivery to let them know that I'm coming up, even though I had already called, but they still have to call and verify. So he goes to the bathroom, and like, y'all, these people is like acting like I'm about to just have this baby in this floor or something. And I'm just standing there chilling, relaxing. They put me in a wheelchair, and they're like, oh, we're gonna take you up. And I'm like, oh no, my boyfriend's in the bathroom, I'll wait for him. And it's like, oh, we'll just send him up, we'll show him how to get up, we're gonna make sure we get you up there. And like, they were just so thirsty, like left my man downstairs and everything. Like, like, I need my man, because if this baby was coming out, I'm not having this baby without him. He gonna have to help. I don't know what he was gonna help, but he was gonna help. So when we finally get upstairs and like get changed to the gown and everything, they checked me. I was 3.5, 4 centimeters dilated. So I had contractions for a little bit, and I had sex, or my sister already knew I was coming, so she actually texted me, my mom, and my brother are like in a group text. So she texted everybody and was like, oh, she's having the baby. So everybody's like, or my mom said it, somebody said it, and everybody's freaking out. So my sister runs up there at like 4:30 in the morning. And so my mom, when she gets up at like 7, she's like, oh, you weren't going to call me? I'm like, yeah, I was going to call you, but like, I'm only at 4. Like, you have time, I was going to let you sleep a little bit. So then when my sister get there, she think, she got to take over. She's so bossy. And I was actually laying in the bed, because like I had been up since like 6 o'clock the morning before. So I'm tired. Like, I just want to relax, mind my business. No, this girl get me up, got me on the peanut ball, got me on the bouncy ball, got me walking. And so like my contractions, they were going in and out. They would, I would have it for a while, dilate some, stop. So at about 4.5 to 5 centimeters, it stopped. So my water at this point hadn't broke yet. So they said that I could go home if I would like, but I mean, I had an appointment the next day to be induced. So there was really no point in me going home. But they said that they could break my water. My main thing was like, I really kind of wanted to go and to labor naturally, but I'm already here. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, I don't know if he's ready to come. He playing peekaboo or what. So they asked, did I want to get my water broke? So I got my water broke, and I immediately went to a 7 centimeters. So from there, or no, it was like a 6.5, and then I dilated to a 7. Then again, it stopped. So at this point, because my water bag was broke, you know, after so long, I think they give you about 2 hours before they wanted to put me on Pitocin, because you know the chance of infection by there being hot water in there with the baby. So then they gave me Pitocin. I think I did it before 2 hours, because I'm like, there's no point in waiting, like, because my contractions, they just was like on and off. And this little boy was like, I'm not coming out, I'm staying in, I'm comfortable, cozy, this is my home. Woo, baby, when they gave me that Pitocin, them contractions kicked in and was whooping my butt. So from there, after they gave me, somebody's riding down the street, they probably think I'm talking to myself, but it's cool. Then I was like, okay, these contractions are terrible, I need some medicine. So they was like, an epidural, and I'm like, no. Or they was like, you can't have an epidural, and I'm like, well, I don't want an epidural. She told me that I can get like laughing gas or like something just for the pain, just give me something, but anything but an epidural. So they gave me some medicine, y'all, and oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. My mom knows it, because she always says it. When I tell y'all, that medicine had me so high and it didn't do nothing, it did not touch them contractions. So y'all, at this point, I'm just like having contractions and like I can't function, because I just keep saying I'm so high. So eventually I lay back, I fell asleep, but like I don't know if I'm dreaming or if I was actually asleep, y'all. Like I was just in this weird state, and I'm just like, I'm so high, like I just can't even get my life together. So they gave me that, and I remember her coming in while I was like in and out of like that weird state of sleep and high and whatever else was going on, and she was like, I'm gonna have to up your Pitocin. I'm like, no you don't you touch that Pitocin. So then I woke up, and then like an hour later, them contractions was kicking my butt. So I look at my mom, I'm like, did she turn on my Pitocin? My mom's like, no, she haven't touched the Pitocin. So I look at the machine, and I'm like, she definitely did, because like I don't know if she don't think I can't read or what, but I'm like, these numbers went up. Like she definitely turned on my Pitocin, and I can feel it. So then after that, I get up to go to the bathroom, and I get to the bathroom, I'm like, I told the nurse, I'm like, I'm about to poop. She's like, you better not. And I'm like, I'm about to poop right now. And she's like, you better not. She's like, you need to get off the toilet. So we walking back to the room, and like I'm just having contractions. No, I can't walk, I can't even move my legs, y'all. I just cannot function. So I'm like just standing there, and I'm like, so they still like, because I was just there so long, so they wanted to put the monitor on the baby while I was standing up, because I'm like, I just cannot get back in that bed. And they put it on, but I guess his heart rate was dropping, so they was like, well, they need me to sit down. So it took me forever to sit down. Like it was so hard like to move in the middle of a contraction, but like the contraction was constant, it would not stop. So when I go to sit down, I'm like just having constant contractions, and I'm still hooked up to the thing. His heart rate is steadily dropping. So they're trying to get me to the bed, and I'm like, I just can't get up. Like I don't want my baby's heart rate to drop, but I literally cannot get up. I can't move. So eventually, like 5 minutes go by, and they finally get me to the bed, because she's like, if we don't get you to bed, she's like the whole team is gonna come running in here, because his heart rate is steady dropping. So I'm trying my best to like get to the bed, and I just cannot. So when I finally get to the bed and they check me, like it's time, and my doctor, she's still not here, and she's like, I had a woman doctor, but I ended up having a male doctor that was on call at the time. So they was like, well, do you want to wait for her? And I'm thinking like in my head, like, do I want to wait? Do I want to hold my baby in to wait for this lady to get here like 15 minutes or whatnot? So I'm glad I didn't wait anyways, because I would end up still having that doctor, because she came in later and she was actually stuck in an emergency surgery. So, but like, I was just so baffled. Like, do I want to wait for this lady to have my baby when this baby finna fall out of my crotch at any moment? Like, no. I want this baby out of me. And then, you know, when you push it, they're like, oh, do you want to feel his hair? No, I want you to get him out of there. So like as I'm pushing, and like my boyfriend has like videos of like, not down there, but like from the side, like an angle, and I'll try to add that in as well. But they're like, oh, whenever you feel the contractions, push. And I'm like, y'all, it's like a lot of pressure. And like everybody said, the ring of fire, I didn't even feel that. It's just so much going on that it was just like, I don't know if I'm having a contraction. Like, it's just too much going on down there. My stomach, my crotch, all of it. Like, I don't know what's going on. So I'm looking at the machine. I'm looking at the nurse. And she's like, whenever you feel a contraction, push. So I'm like, I think I'm having a contraction. And I'm looking at the machine. She's like, yeah, you can push. Because I'm just like, I don't know. I really don't. So after a couple pushes, I had my baby, a little boy. He was 7 pounds, 5 ounces, 21 inches. And y'all, this baby has freaking sprouted. He was in like the 80th percentile for his weight for like most of his life. Until now he's over the 99th percentile. But for his height, since his first appointment, this baby has been over the 99th percentile. So I don't know if he's gonna be huge, if he's gonna slow down or what, but he's literally like, he doesn't have a curve. His height is like this from every paperwork. So he's big.
You're gonna beat him on this one. Yep. There you go. Keep going. Ow! That's it. That's it. Watch his head. Heads out. All right, his head's out. Keep pushing. Pull back behind those legs. I got it. Pull back behind those legs. Here he is. Look, here's your baby. Look down.
Hello.
Here's your baby. Look down, babe. Here's your baby. There he is. There he is. Big old boy. Congratulations. You did something great. Yeah. That's our Sorry, babe. Nice job. You did amazing.
Okay, it's still cord hooked up. Put that baby right there. And then we'll take care of the cord, huh?
Hi.
It's been 30 seconds, hasn't it?
Hi, please.